Hello, world. Patricia O'Connor and Reba Dorsey here, and it is our Friday night, and we are at our little humble hacienda. And what I'm floundering at framing up currently is a little pine tree, and we're going to work on this little. This is a Mugo Pine. This is a Mugo Pine that I got recently, and we are going to do some. We're going to do a bunch of stuff to this. This is going to be a multi-parter. Before we're done with it, we will probably, not probably, that pot that you just saw will play into it. These screens that you see here will play into it, and other bits and pieces will play into it. I acquired this little guy from the auction. I think I told you all about it already. I acquired this from the Facebook auction group, 99-cent Bonsai, and I got it with the buy it now feature, and anxiously awaited its arrival. I was really happy with the seller. I was really happy, still am, was really happy with the way the seller packaged the tree. I was happy with the way that they had priced the tree, or I wouldn't have bid on it. I was pretty happy with the care that the tree had been given, and there's a little hint right there where I'm fixing to go. And all in all, I saw that it was straight. I saw that it was straight right here, and that we could stand to do some work from that standpoint, that we would have something that we could be doing to this tree. And all that being said and done, I look forward to getting this Mugo Pine. And so far, the research that I've been able to do, some of it is proven, was by y'all, is proven very, very eye-opening. I'm pretty excited about the stuff that I've learned about this tree. But what I was saying to some of you guys the other night about pots and single drainage holes and the way American pots tend to do, and sometimes little designer pots and stuff seems to not be as serious as maybe what they could be. So I was kind of kicking around the idea of at some point how long I should let this guy settle in. It arrived pretty quickly, but it was in a box for a week. So my idea was, it was in a box for 5 days. So, and then it came from Maine, and then now it's in Alameda. So to my way of thinking, we're in potting season for most trees, but not necessarily for this one, which is the case. This is not Mugo Pine repotting season, from what they tell me. I don't know what it feels like, where these guys come from when it's repotting season, but in May, but right here in Alameda, our temperatures right now are in the early to mid 50s, low to mid 50s, sometimes getting close to 60, and we're having some wind and some other stuff. It's spring, but that's just kind of typical spring. But from where this guy came from, that might be, that might feel like balmy. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I was thinking at some point when we got a little closer, it'd be fun to do some stuff to this tree. And what I would want to do is repot it, and what I would like to do is go through here and clean out some of this growth, and then whenever it's time, we would do a little branch selection there and clean up some of those guys. And then at that point, we would also probably put it into a different pot. Maybe not work on the roots at the same time that we're going to be doing some bending and folding, but maybe just put it in another pot, having not really messed with the roots much. That was kind of my idea when it came to proper season. Now, having said that, this morning we got up and we are in for more of our really foul weather that we've been going through. I'm playing with angles here while we're talking. We're going through more of our foul weather. Like tonight, it's nice. It's balmy feeling. and a little breezy, not really windy. But last night we were having gale winds, and I put everybody in the fall pack. All the trees last night went in the fall back position. And when I got up this morning, everything, fall back position or not, was wetter than it had ever been. And this guy was on the deck. It was laying on the concrete. It's out of the pot. This is some of the boom mix that we have that I keep in my cement mixer. So what I had to do is basically grab the tree up and scoop it back into the pot. So it had fallen off of the table in the gale winds and hit the ground, and I don't see a break in the pot, although I find that really hard to believe. And that lump of dirt that you saw on there for a second that I probably raked off into the carpet, that was from where it was just kind of laying there in the rain all night. So this guy got unpotted last night, and so it seems like given that, maybe we'll just go ahead. And this is going to be a multi-parter, and we're going to oh my god, that was just so cute. We're going to I'm going to take this tree and I'm going to put it in this, and then bundle it up really nice and tight so that I can do stuff that I've got in my head that I want to do. And then we're going to wrap some copper around it, and I'm going to fix this part of the trunk at one point. Also, I'm going to make decisions up in here on what it is we should be doing up in there after I've cleaned this up some. So that's kind of, oh, you can still see, it's really loose in there. I had said that I tend to be a little calamitous, and that's why, as a rule, I tend to at least start off with my trees wired in. But this wasn't on my, well, it was on my watch, but this was something that I would have definitely had wired in had I potted this guy up. But having said that, I probably wouldn't have gone with those. I'm not crazy about those little type of pots. I just took one today for our greenhouse at the in our garden center at the hardware store, and I went over to the bench grinder and I ground a little clean edge right there just to break the seal. And that was so they could use it for succulents without the little things blowing up, because, you know, you wait until they need water and then you water the succulents, and the next thing you know, they explode because the water doesn't go anywhere. So, yeah. All right, last little slurp of coffee. And what we're going to do is not get overly nuts about it. I think it's less evasive if I just, those fruits look good. I didn't really take a whole lot of time to investigate what they looked like laying there on the deck this morning. That wasn't the most fun. That wasn't the most fun. I doubt if it really hurt it, but that wasn't the most fun I've ever had, seeing my little tree acquisition laying there on the pavement. All right, what would have been good is if I would have had a little string standby for that. I could have also. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. So this is the part where I would like to go through and do a little cleanup. Maybe pull this table up a little closer first. This is the part where in the industry they call blocking, and I didn't do a whole lot of blocking beforehand. Let's see. So this is a really thick pot. he had several trees for sale that were in pots like this, and he also had a few of them in square pots. So they weren't, but there were 4 or 5 trees that were in pots just like this, like he might have bought a half a dozen of them or something. And they're real thick. They also have a lip. They also just have the one really large drain hole. I thought that might have been an indentation to let water out, but nope, it doesn't have any way to break that. Now, a lot of times when growers, if bonsai growers want to do little mames or something, and they buy a whole bunch of little pots like this, you can get a little bonsai tree, and it will have been from a grower. Maybe it will have been just fine in a tree like this, and that might very well be because the grower will have had this thing in a tray, and in a tray it will be kind of sitting not flat on the surface, but it'll be sitting kind of like what I'm holding it now, in kind of a tray that would hold seedlings and stuff. You could see 4 or 5 of these sitting in a little seed holder, and they were basically the hole underneath here is going to be unobscured because it's going to be off the deck. So you buy this tree, all of a sudden it gets plucked out of there, and it's at home sitting on your deck now, and there's no drainage just because you just set it on a flat surface. It's no longer in that little holder. So maybe the little tray where I keep my bonsai trees in a little brownie tray with some substrate on it, maybe that part would be beneficial in helping that guy drain. But I can't emphasize enough how much that probably is just not good to be blocking off all the drainage on little pots like that. So I've just kind of jumped in and started pulling out some of these needles. There's a lot of them here. It's really kind of hard to see what we got going on. But a lot of little branches in here too. We've got a lot of choices. So, this motion is really good. This motion is really good. But here on the top, on the end, it's like we could use something here or we could use something here, but instead we've got, I'm going to guess and say 7 branches sticking out of the end. What is that going to do? That's going to make the end of this do what it's already doing. Swell up like an elephant's foot. So at some point when we're cleaning this up, I'll make a decision as to whether or not we're going to lean towards bigger branches or whether or not we're going to lean towards smaller branches. And then with that in mind, we'll start nipping some of these back and see what we end up with. At this point, I haven't seen enough to have an idea whether I'm going to cut back to 2 or 4 or 3 or I don't have a number. I don't have a shape in mind. I just see, it looks like a hedge to me. It's a little pine that almost, for the amount of foliage in there, this could be a hedge in the front of somebody's house. Some little buds in there. So today was a nice little day at work. Was really pretty out today. Yesterday was cloudy and rainy, and the later it got, the windier it got all day long. Man, this guy has needles just all the way down the branches, so I'm just kind of trying to clean them up a little bit to where we can see what we're dealing with here. And so many buds. It's like the whole limb is just thick with them, and it just starts to look better immediately after cleaning some of that back. That's a whole little branch. We're going to keep that. We should probably... And I'm kind of doing... Some feel like needles, and then sometimes you can definitely feel their buds. And so I'm grabbing the needles and pulling them out, and grabbing some buds and letting them go, because I don't really know. I haven't gotten a visual concept of a form yet, just because there's just too much stuff here to see. But it's looking better. It's already starting to clean up. Get a little division between these branches would be nice. I'm starting to... One thing kind of just leads to another. You're like, oh yeah, I can see enough to make a plan. And now the also our living room smells like Mugo Pine, which is not a bad little fragrance. So I found out, I was kind of wondering about whether or not I could get away with growing one of these here. I was kind of going back and forth going, have I seen some of these at the club? It seems like I've seen some of these at the club. Seems like I've seen a couple of, a couple of local growers messing with these also when I've been watching some of our local growers do their bonsai videos. So I'm kind of pondering that back and forth and trying to get a little bit more information out of what you can get away with and what you can't get away with and what it is that they like. And somebody offered up the info, and this was really good info to me. Or I was just, it's like, did I learn a whole lot? In a way, yes, and in a way, no. Sometimes somebody tells you something and it's eye-opening. So as far as the ton of information, no, you didn't get a ton of information, but you just found out a whole area of things that that you now need to learn about, and it's exciting and probably a little intimidating, but at the same time, it's more exciting than that. And that was, somebody was giving me information about climates and zones where they were happily growing Mugo pines, and how the zone that this guy grows in, now I shouldn't be passing this along, because this is just information that I'm just now aware of that I want to learn more about. But how its zone didn't have as much to do with how cold it gets, but had more to do with how hot it doesn't get. It's like what they really are looking for in these guys is no scorchers, which we don't get here. They were telling me chin up. You could probably get away with that. It's not exactly in your zone, but for the reason of that it tends to want to be in a climate that doesn't get super, super hot. Not necessarily in a climate that has to get super cold. So that was... But the way I found out that information and what I found out along with it just gave me that just kind of opened up oh, wow, I've got a whole lot to learn about that now. And that's kind of exciting. And at the same time, that's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot to give to you. I just learned something that I'm passing along, and I've learned something that I'll need to learn more about. Yay. Like, that's not fun though. So, from what some of the stuff I've been watching, I was thinking that this was probably below the soil line, and that's why we have that look. But from watching other videos, what I hear is these guys are quite often grafted. So that's probably where we started life as a graft. And, I should have brought in Mr. Sprayer. That's where we started life. Well, it does like it needs water after laying in the water all night. So, that's probably where we were grafted. Also, what I've learned is these guys are rather slow growers. They're rather slow growers. Okay. We are seeing a few decisions that we can get in here and make. Not like tons, but a few. I don't know if these are the guys for this or not. Take out. I'm about to take out a branch, and then I saw a tiny little branch, and I couldn't quite tell where it was coming from. That I didn't want to take out. Is that a part of it or not? I think I'm going to remove this branch, and a little bud on the side of it was the guy I was looking at. I don't even know if that's a viable bud at this point. Maybe I'll go in with a different pair of pruners, and we'll have a look at it once I get in there. I won't do it in one, I'll do it in two. Yeah, clean that off clean. I don't think that's something I have to keep. And I would probably do better to clean that wound up like I would have originally done that. That's a lot neater. Okay. That smells so good. So that's given us a little division. I'm starting to see a little bit of stuff now. We can clean this out some more. Clean the base of this branch out some. Leave that little bud. Leave that little branch. Okay. Just going to go through here. It's got a bazillion little buds and needles, and I'm going to start making judgment calls on some of this stuff. Where I have little buds directly across from one another, I'm going to start cutting back like every other one. So many little buds on this thing. So if you cut one or two of these little buds, and what do you see? It opens up, and you can then see that there's a million little buds in there. It's like, oh, holy crap, I think I like it better a second when I couldn't see all those. It's like, yeah, now you have to hack your way out of the jungle. Alright, that enormously long one can go, I think. This is my first Ponderosa, Ponderosa. This is my first little Mugo. So somebody's probably watching this going, yeah, she's cutting all the wrong stuff off. Yeah, I hope this isn't cringeworthy bonsai moments for somebody, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that long guy right there. the super long one right next to it. Okay. Now, what about that guy? So, all right, let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 huge branches coming out of the end. 5 huge branches coming out of the end. This one. Yeah. No, you won't do that with those. I thought I would try to leave that with a little bit of a, just a little bit of a gin point. Not really much of a gin, but just a blunt in there that can just be seen that where it's going to roll over. Right on that part where it will roll over. Those roots, look. Those roots look very well maintained. Very tempted, yeah, just knock that off. I'm not cutting any of the roots off, but I do see a knot sticking out of the bottom there with nothing coming out of it. It just was a little piece of hardwood. Alright, removed a little piece of hardwood. Yeah. No actual roots. Came from right there. So that would be the only thing we're going to do to the roots, and we didn't really intend to do that. We're just kind of opportunists like that. Now, here's what I can't just really hang with, and that is that nothing that's happening right there. That something has to happen there. And what that something will be is what that something will be is we're going to do a couple of more little branch and some more, and just maybe a tiny bit more root work. And then we are going to throw some copper on this guy, and we're going to move that. We're going to move that base somehow, some way. We've got pliers. I broke out the root splitter. Mama's not fooling around. Oh, yeah, apparently I am fooling around. I didn't think I was fooling around, but maybe I am. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, now Mama's not fooling around. Get in there. Some more needles to clean out of here. starting to see a little bit of a tree for the first time. I'm not saying I see an incredibly pretty tree. It looks a little club-like, frankly, a little club-like. Lots of choices. Lots and lots of choices. Alright, so I got 4 right there next to one another. Alright, try it again. There you go. Little tree. I don't know what I would do with, why I would keep that, but I'm putting off cutting that for a minute. Yeah, now we've gotten this down to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 huge ass branches on the end of it. Alright, let's just stop. Let's just stop with the chopping of the tree parts. Hold that to there as far as the main branches are concerned. I'm continuing to do some bud production in here. Trying to clean up these trunks and stuff. Make it a little easier for me to run some wire on this guy. Make it a little bit easier for me to see where the tree is. Okay. Now, I am a believer in, if you start having a hard time, if you think you're having a hard time moving a tree, or if you think a tree is going to be really, really challenging, you watch the old guys. They start giving it that, It's like you start doing a little workout. You don't just run out there to the garage and try to lift up that humongous thing. You stretch first. Before you break this tree in half, you first try to get it used to the idea of stuff's about to happen. Also, while I'm doing that, I'm seeing some angles on this tree that I kind of like. That is kind of cool, right? That part of it's kind of cool. We could drop that guy down, bring this guy back. See, all that stuff's pretty pliable. But even this tree is, if this were a black pine, this would be what? To look like this? 3-year-old tree? I believe this tree might be a little older than that. Maybe by a couple of years, because they tell me that mugos grow really slow. Okay. That's what they tell me. These guys grow a little. They go a little slower. Find a piece of wire. Let's get us a little copper wire here. Okay. have been a longer piece of wire there, Pat. Well, actually, yeah, that should have been a longer piece of wire. But I don't have a problem with what's going on up here. By the time we get up here, now I'm not making excuses, that should have been a longer piece of wire. But I can also do stuff with this. I'd already been thinking that when it came time to do that, I probably won't do that just by doing that with a wire. I'll probably run some slings and or put some zip ties around some of this stuff and pull that up tight. For aesthetics, this should have been longer. Excuse me. We'll go with this. Or we could use our big pliers. Okay. Now, excuse me. I sifted out a lot of soil just before we shot this. I'm going to be probably coughing that up for a minute. All right. Hopefully that's enough wire to do a little bit of a crank on that guy. And if not, we can add one. So I think I'm going to open these guys up to where they're doing that noise. And then just grab a couple of coils of wire here. Alright, now I've got a death grip on a couple of coils of wire. I went, okay, let's see, that's how that used to come up out of the ground. What would be our best move from there? I think I see it. I think I do. Going to come in with my soft channel locks and try to make this fold. I'm more concerned with this grip than I am with my look at camera, but I hope this is okay for camera. I hope this is okay for you guys. Put a scar on it right there. Almost nothing. Well, no, not almost nothing. That's actually some. Okay. Okay, so we did that. that got some motion into it, and we can accentuate that with an angle. We went from this to that. All right. Now, but wait, there's more. Pull back for a second. That was actually a big move. That little bit of bend there that I put in it was almost discouraging because it wasn't as much bend as I thought. And the later the bend I did with my hand, where I just like used both hands and then pulled that squeeze in together, that was possible because of the breakover that I'd already done with this guy, and that was the motion that counted. When all said and done, that's the motion that comes and curves out, was the motion that we did right there. So yeah, that was pretty cool actually. I'm pretty okay with that. Now I need to pick out, I'm going to pick out another gauge of wire, and we're going to squeeze this tighter. We're going to squeeze this almost really tight together, the way we have that. So let me see, do I have any? No, I do not. Okay. I was thinking that'd be a great time for some rubber tape, and it would have been. It would have been the perfect time for some rubber tape. That wire that we're going to put in there, that doesn't need to be anything. That doesn't need to be copper. That can be aluminum. We're just going to abuse a piece of wire. So, yeah. So my thought is that we'll fold these two together. Like that. Or do I go like this? I think that's it. Kind of see where I'm going here, right? I mean, that's not going to be too hard to see where we're going with that guy. I can do some of that right here, right now. I'm trying to get some twists on this wire, try to get some good spirals in that guy, so it's kind of doing. I'm not really bending the tree with it yet. I'm just trying to kind of get, yeah. See, that's already started off kind of neat. Now we're about to do the bend, and I'm going to do it here. And I'm not even hardly, when I'm turning the wire, I am not really pulling the tree much up with the wire as much as I pulled it up by squeezing it, and then ran the wire up, and then caught the wire up to where I just squeezed it. The difference in doing it that way is that you are less likely to break your wire. If you're just winding the tree up, a lot of times you won't stop and give it a break, and the wire will break. Also, you're increasing the tension on the wire with every turn. If you just squeeze the tree together, and then take up the slack, the wire is not under an enormous amount of strain until you release the tree on it, and then generally it settles back into a position that the wire's okay with, hunky dory. It doesn't really feel like it's torqued out, and yet it's holding quite a bit of tree there. So this would be a good point to go through here with our Nip-X and our Knip-X, depending on how you like your Ks. I like my Ks silent. Like I like my Frida dogs. I don't really like my dog silent. You just happen to be that way. Yeah. I just happen to be, between the two of us, I'm the loud one. Okay, so we wanted to put some motion in this tree. We did that. Oh yeah. So it was coming up here, and with two enormous pieces of channel locks, I was able to get this guy going that way. And now we put a squeeze in there. We could do that more. I don't know that I need to. Now, do we have anything down in here we want to do? Do we want to do something? No, I think let's plant this guy. Let's call this part 1. This is going to be part 1 of our Mugo Pine. And in part 2, we're going to prep and use this pot for this tree and find an angle. And yeah, there probably won't be a part 3. I think it'll probably be a 2-part. We'll see. I don't. What do I know in the future? Anyway, like and subscribe if you guys hadn't already. After we get through messing with this Mugo Pine, we're probably gonna plant some little pine trees or do something. And after I get this guy potted, I might do some wire to the top of this stuff, or I might just leave it alone and let it relax and let me get an idea. If I don't have one when I get done, I'm not going to sweat it. I think we've already done some pretty cool, I think it's too late not to have done some cool things to this little tree already. If I see something that gives me a sense of direction, I may take it. Otherwise, we'll just proceed on with part 2 being our repot and our positioning and that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.